Hello, squids, kids, and cephalopods of all kinds. Today on Squids with a Mic, we're answering a very interesting question. So to get started, let's think. You're in a turf war, and you can only bring one thing with you. Either an angle shooter or a sprinkler. What's the best option? I'm sure you all know what a sprinkler is, right? A sub-weapon that's been around since the original Splatoon. The sprinkler is a device that sprays ink in a circle infinitely until destroyed. The angle shooter wasn't added until Splatoon 3. It is a device that bounces off surfaces and not only causes damage to enemies, but marks their location temporarily. For 6 seconds, to be exact. To be honest, these are both terrible choices. That's why I picked them. Sprinkler can ink the ground, which is crucial in a turf war, but it will not protect you from anything. Angle shooters can do a bit more in terms of combat, but that doesn't mean very much. Actually, I don't think it's possible to splat someone with an angle shooter alone. And obviously you aren't going to splat someone with a sprinkler alone unless you're some sort of miracle worker. What this question basically asks is, in which way would you like to be the most useless member of your team? Poke people with the angle shooter, or slightly inconvenience them with a sprinkler? Of course, no hate to either of these weapons. They can be quite fun when they actually have a main.
If it's for turf war, then sprinkler, because angle shooter does not paint that well.
Sprinkler! Then get out of this.
Of course, sprinkler would be way better for paint, but the sprinkler doesn't really attack or defend you in any way at all. The angle shooter can kinda.
In anarchy battle, I'd probably pick angle shooter.
Yeah, the angle shooter does a lot more damage than the sprinkler does. Twice the damage, actually. And uses less ink, so it's way better for fighting.
Angle shooter doesn't hit multiple times, though.
Yeah, but you can throw it twice at once. In one ink tank, I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Though that still isn't enough to splat someone.
Sprinkler. It has better paint output, it can block shots, and if you somehow get it right underneath of an enemy, it can splat them pretty quickly.
So have you ever seen anybody do that? Because I've never personally encountered a sprinkler splat.
Not in my own gameplay, but I have seen other people do it.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times before.
So of course, if we were to switch it around and say you were in an anarchy battle, which one would you rather have?
Anarchy, well, that depends on whether it's zones or not. Or, well, what game mode, actually. If it's tower or zones, I'll probably take sprinkler. However, if it's clams or, oh gosh, what was the other one? I forgot what the other
Rainmaker.
one. Rainmaker. Yeah, I would probably take angle shooter in either of those cases.
So do either of you have much experience with the angle shooter? I know it's not really a favorite in the community.
I used a few events with it, but not that much.
I have a little bit of experience. I've used the Splattershot Pro, the vanilla version, a couple of times.
I wonder, would the sprinkler really provide that much paint to your team during a turf war? Because it is rather slow and stays in one spot, and could easily be destroyed by the enemy team.
You can always move it.
I know the more I think about it, the more that it seems like both of them are just absolutely terrible choices.
Neither one is the best sub-weapon ever.
It is really fun to mess around with the angle shooter. If you just manage to hit someone just right and they have low health and it splats them, it's quite the accomplishment. What if we change things up even more? What if you had to use one of those to survive a salmon run?
The sprinkler by far.
I would take the sprinkler as well.
The angle shooter
don't-
can't even pierce.
No, it cannot. I doubt they'd be smart enough to try and break the sprinkler. So it would have the best AoE potential.
Although if they made the angle shooter deal like 400 damage or something, that could actually be valuable.
So how long do you think that salmon run would last before you die?
Not long.
So let's go back to the turf war. Which weapon do you think you would be more likely to actually get a splat with?
Angle shooter.
Yeah, I think that's the one that's more likely to kill, and more reliable damage, but the sprinkler is definitely better paint output.
I'm still trying to weigh the pros and cons of both of them in my head. Angle shooter is better for effectively, it's the only one that really lets you go for aggressive plays. Sprinkler is a little bit better, in my opinion, for long-term paint output, and for it has a niche that Angle shooter doesn't have for camping super jumps, because you can just place the sprinkler directly on top of a super jump, and even if they have drop roller, they're getting hit by at least 2 of those bursts. I feel like a good comp for it would be 3 angle shooters and 1 sprinkler. Just so you have a sprinkler for getting more ink on the battlefield, while the angle shooters do most of the fighting work, and sprinkler gets to punish over aggressive jumps. If it's just playing solo, I feel like angle shooter is the better option, so you can more consistently contribute. Because you can at least follow up on your teammates damaging something if you're the only one doing this gimmick. And you'll have lower paint output than you'll probably have lower paint output than you would a sprinkler, but the only time limitation you have on angle shooter's paint output is how much time it takes to recover ink. And if you make a gear build that's enough to get triple angle shooter for the rest of the ink recovery, you can probably throw them out pretty consistently.
Yeah, is triple angle shooter possible? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I have the game open right now. I know I've made I've made a double curling bomb build for messing around with Sploosh. So let me see if I can find the pieces for that. Okay, I've got Jet Sculpture equipped, and my gear build right now has 3 mains and 4 subs of Ink Saber sub, and I do get triple angle shooter.
I'm checking on Sendu right now. The maximum you can get is 32%. So yeah, that'll work.
So, if I had to pick a sub weapon, honestly, I'm picking Sprinkler. Now, you might be wondering why. Well, the main reason is sometimes there's players, certain type of players that don't notice it, and if there's a sprinkler around, they'll try to get rid of it. And if they're doing that, I might be able to sneak in and get rid of them. So, personally, that's what I would pick.
So how do you plan on taking them out, though, if you do sneak in?
I'll put in another sprinkler around them. I'll just surround them with sprinklers if I could.
I feel like getting an aggressive splat with sprinkler specifically is going to be even more precise than getting it's going to be more precise than getting 1 angle shooter shot, because you also have to have the distance correct. Well, if angle shooter, if you're at the same height as somebody, you can just throw the dart at your feet and it'll travel straight forward. I'm actually going to test this right now. I am in a turf war game using only angle shooters, and I'll do another one after this using only sprinkler.
Let us know the results. I must know.
I just got beaten in a 1v1 by a Swiffer when I'm playing Vanilla Jet, which is something that shouldn't happen at closer ranges. Sprinkler is a little bit ink hungrier, which makes it somewhat worse for defense. Because
The sprinkler has 60% ink consumption. So you might be able to get 2 sprinklers at most.
But that's about it.
yeah, and it's gonna take more of your ink tank to panic and run away than make sure.
I will still take my chances.
Ooh, got a splat with the angle shooter. I don't think the results of this are going to. I don't think the results of these two games are going to be significantly different.
What if you combined both subs together?
How would you do that?
So you get the part of the sprinkler, but instead of it spurting, it shoots the angle shooter, and it shoots multiple angle shooters everywhere.
I accidentally killed somebody with my the 10 missiles locked onto me. This is so sad. I'm so sorry. Rain down with silver arrow spray.
Rest in peace.
I am trying so hard to fight these Lugadoolies. It is not working. Come on. Ink back the angle shooter! We did it! One of the worst subs in the game and one of the worst specials in the game. Combined to kill one person.